The state of New Jersey, like most states, has a guardianship program. It is county run, and if for any reason you are incapacitated and no one else can take care of you, the state assigns a guardian that's supposed to look out for you, that's supposed to care for you. Well, an investigative report by the Asbury Park Press found that is not always the case. And I'd like to introduce you to the reporter who has been doing the investigation, Shannon Mullen. Shannon, what have you found?
Well, this is a case out of Atlantic County, and an attorney down there, who's an elder law attorney, has been getting assigned cases for guardianship for 10 or more years. And what's turned out to be the case is, instead of protecting these people, she and others have been victimizing them, stealing their money, their property, and it's to the tune of millions of dollars. And so our story is looking at the safety net for mostly the elder population, and it's pretty horrific, really.
How many people are involved?
Well, there's an attorney and I believe 3 other accomplices. They were social workers, and essentially what they would do is kind of scout out victims. The allegation is that they would scout out victims, and they would look for people who were, vulnerable. They were either, very elderly or very sick, but they would specifically look for people who didn't have family members looking out for them and had resources. So maybe they had an IRA, maybe they owned their home. Those were the people that they wanted to exploit, and they were able to do this for years without anybody catching them.
But it had to go. There had to be a government okay for that, right? They had to do it through the government.
Yeah, well, that's one of the great unanswered questions, right? Yeah, this is all basically run through a surrogate's office.
And no one there is involved?
Not to our knowledge. There's a certain amount of trust that goes with, a judge appointing a guardian, an attorney who's supposed to be a respectable professional to take on this role. It's a very difficult job, I might add. And it's not a job that people are lining up to volunteer for.
So when somebody does volunteer and somebody does want that job, they should undergo a little bit more scrutiny, I would think, because there's so much money there potentially.
There really is, and in this case, a lot of the victims are dead now. A lot of their estates have been, depleted. It's very difficult for us to see, how do you set that right? How do you make amends? How do you compensate their families for what was done to them? And it seems like there is no really good answers to those questions. And
if somebody knows somebody that might need a guardian, you would tell them what? Really
do your homework. There's other alternatives to guardianship, and it's not just attorneys who have exploited people. Sadly, sometimes guardians are family members, and they exploit other family members. So it's just something to be very, very careful about, and to really educate and start thinking about it in advance. If you have elderly parents, or you yourself are getting up in age, don't wait till the last minute, because this can happen very quickly. The original guy we talked to took a wrong step outside his townhouse, hit his head, and his life completely unraveled. So,
Shannon, appreciate it.
Okay, Larry.
Thank you so much. If you want to read Shannon's story, it's at app.com. That is the Asbury Park Press's website. When we return, we're going to talk to a man who's doing God's work in Woodbridge and helping to feed the homeless. Well, not necessarily the homeless, people like you and me who just need a little bit of help. There's more of them than you think. That's when Jersey Matters continues.